Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari Vidyapeeth for the students of Standard 10, in which we are learning the subject of social science. Students, today we are going to start with chapter number 5, which is the fifth chapter in the history section of this book. Name of the chapter is India's Heritage of Science and Technology. Now, from chapter number 1, we started with Heritage of India. We learned different aspects of heritage, natural heritage, cultural heritage. Chapter number 2, we learned about the handicraft and fine arts that has been passed on from generation to generation, and we have quite a lot of diverse geography, and so we have lots of diversity in culture, heritage, culture, tradition, customs, way of making things, way of singing, way of dancing. So that was chapter number 2, which taught us heritage on handicrafts and fine arts. Chapter number 3, we learnt about sculpture and architecture of India. In chapter number 4, we learnt about the literary heritage of India. So now we come to India in terms of science and technology, a rich heritage. Students, right from chapter number 1, we have learned that uh, even before Indus Valley civilization, the Dravidians, which were the direct descendants of the Stone Age era, since then on, people had been living in India. And so we have advanced so much on our own land that time and again we have made lots of discoveries. We have started making use of mathematics, science, etc. in our day-to-day use, and we have discovered a lots of things. So this in small amount, but when we put whole of our history together, we have a rich, very varied heritage which gives us science and technology. The discoveries, science and technology has made this world a very small place. That is true in today's contact, in today's uh, in today's day. We can consider whole of the globe as one small village, because communication has become so speedy. We can communicate with anybody on any part of the planet within fractions of a second. Connection can be had, and we can be talking to each other. With today's technology, we can be uh, looking at each other, and we can have a virtual meeting, right? So not only audio but video meetings can happen within seconds, and we can see each other's face, and we can meet our family members who are very far away from us. So communication has become speedier, faster, more innovative. So it makes this world a very small place. Supersonic airplanes allow us to travel very large distance within a very short time period, and we can reach any part of this world by air. That is, with the help of planes, we can reach the distant land within a few hours and be with a family member, or we can be making ourselves ready for the function to attend in a far off country within a few hours of traveling. So in this way, whole of the world has become a very small place for us. The discoveries and inventions in the field of science and technology have brought the countries of the world more and more closer. Today nobody can say proudly that I don't need anyone, I don't need any country, I don't need the help of any country, because each and every country is now dependent on other for the purpose of, say, raw material or resources or manpower or money. So for grains, food, foodstuff, uh, machine parts or ready-made machines or finished products, engineering equipments, software, hardware. So uh, we can say that each country is dependent on the rest of the world for its survival. So with the help of faster communication, faster transport, with the ease of help of the uh, globalization, we are able to trade with each other. So discoveries and invention in the field of science and technology have brought the countries of the world quite nearer. Cooperation among the nations has increased, hence new attitude has developed. Earlier, the attitude of the countries was quite narrow. Country who is very, very rich doesn't want to share its technology with others, doesn't want to share its money with others, and it wants to give all its facility to its own citizen and look after its citizen and want to collect more and more money in this way, and did not allow the smaller countries or smaller economies to have a speedier growth. But nowadays, as each of the countries dependent on everybody else, so we can say cooperation among the nations has to be there. Without cooperation, today's world cannot go on for many days. So that has increased, and that has brought a new attitude in people, that let us come together and solve our problems. Let us not create problems among others, but let us come together and become one world. So countries have become oriented towards peaceful coexistence and world peace. Earlier days we had lots of wars waging between different countries, and at the end we used to have a world war. Then again there was some peace, then again countries started fighting with each other, and again there was another world war, and then also after that also lots of countries kept on fighting with each other, waging wars with each other. Terrorism spread. So at the end, people realize, countries realize, the world leaders, they realize that if we keep on fighting in such a way continuously with each other, then we do not have much time where the world will come to an end. So the people are urging their country leaders, their countries and other countries to have a peaceful coexistence with each other. People got fed up, the governments got fed up of continuous fighting, because war just brings destruction, and a lot of money is wasted in waging a war. So people got fed up of the wars, the governments got fed up of the wars, the political leaders also, they were getting fed up of the war. So now if we want to exist in this world, then we have to be cooperative, we have to have cooperation, coordination with other countries, so that there can be a peaceful coexistence. So now countries have become oriented towards peaceful coexistence, and we are talking about world peace. India has scientific attitude along with religious outlook. So since beginning we have been learning from chapter number 1 that the Dravidians and even people before them, they used to worship nature, they used to sing hymns. Then the Dravidians started with worshipping with deep incense stick, so hymns, etc. So in this way we have seen that right from beginning, that we say, if we say 5,000 years ago, then right from Indus Valley civilization, Harappan civilization, the Aryan civilization which followed, they were completely religious minded. And in our country we see thousands of temples all around the country. People have lots of aesthetic values. Where religion is concerned, they find peace in worshipping in God, taking the name of God. Rich people, those who have earned crores and crores of rupees, they are happily spending lots of money to build temples so that people can come and worship their gods and goddesses. So in this way, even our thinking is quite religious. Wherever possible, we try to attach the name of God. So religious thinking, that's a very good thing, but along with that, we have a religious outlook, but then we have scientific attitude too. How do we prove that? The great sages of our ancient India have gifted invaluable heritage of science to the world. Now, the great sages that lived hundreds and thousands of years ago, they kept on researching. Yes, they were meditating, they took the name of God, they were quite religious, but other than that, they had quite a lot of scientific attitude. They researched in the jungles, they found lots and lots of herbal medicine. They took the help of lots of leaves of the trees, plants, roots of the trees, plants, different parts of the plants and trees, for example, fruit, buds, all these things, and they made Ayurvedic medicine out of it. Lots of sages, etc., they were very much interested in chemistry also, physics also. We'll learn them one by one, right? So we say that the great sages of ancient India have gifted invaluable heritage of science. They have gifted us with a scientific heritage because of their findings, because of their discoveries, because of their research. Now we are proud to say that it is thankful to these sages that we, along with our religious outlook, we also had a scientific attitude, and we not only were learning religion, we were not only learning and teaching the different subjects, but together we were also learning science, maths, and lots of researches, lots of opinions, suggestions were given by these sages, even outside the world, that is regarding space, the movement of the celestial objects, uh, the uh, the stars, etc., coming of the comets, and they were quite absolutely correct in their prediction regarding these comets, regarding the uh, location and the presence of the planets at different times of the spinning of the earth, or we can say at the different time of the 12 months of the year. So how were they able to do that? Yes, science also needs the use of mathematics. So if they were able to exactly predict that at a given time a planet's position will be over here in the sky, then you also need lots of mathematics to do that research. So we, along with religious outlook, we did have scientific attitude also. They have made outstanding contribution in lots and lots of field. What example? Metallurgy. Metallurgy is the science of metals, minerals. Chemistry, the science of chemicals. Medicinal science, the science which deals with medicine, remedies, cure. Surgery, then mathematics, astronomy, astrology, Vastu Shastra, physics. These are the different faculties in which lots and lots of sages, lots and lots of scholarly people, they researched, they had lots of finding, and they put it in writing. And today we are very proud to say that we had all these people who worked in these many different fields, and apart from these also there are lots many other fields that they work in the science field. For example, field of metallurgy, chemistry, medicinal science, surgery, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, Vastu Shastra, and physics also. It's a matter of great pride for us that India has not only contributed in the field of literature, these are soft things, right? So, in the world, it is quite famous that India has quite a lot of soft literature, right? Hard literature is the writings of the science, maths, etc. That most of the Indians, they possess the art of soft literature, that is writing poems, stories, novels, etc. So not only in the fields of literature, art, religion, education and philosophy, but it has also made immense contribution in the field of science and technology. So that people cannot say that we just write soft literature, right? We can write hardcore literature also, where lots and lots of researchers have done their researches and written down or passed on their observation to the next generation in the field of science and technology. Modern researchers have proved that India has scientific attitude along with religious outlook too. Modern researchers, they have proved that what they had found today, Indian sages and saints and scientists have proved that quite long ago, say 100 or 1000 years ago, that they have already proved that this is the orbit in which the Earth rotates around the Sun, and this will be the position of the planets in these many years. This will be the correct time when the comet arrives. So we have been able to predict this. So modern researchers today prove that, along with the literature, art, religion, we also had quite a serious outlook in the science and technology. Now we come to the meaning of science and technology. Science means systematic knowledge, and technology means the practical utility of systematic knowledge. Now what is science? Science means a systematic knowledge. Now what is a systematic knowledge? That if you know about the magnets, then you can make lots of practical things working on magnets. That means it is a systematic knowledge. Once you have the complete knowledge of magnet, how it works, what is the effect of the magnetic field, there are different types of magnets. You learn all those things and then you can put it into use. That putting into use of the properties of the magnet, that is called technology. So technology means the practical utility of systematic knowledge. For example, we know that opposite poles, do they attract each other or repulse each other, right? So that comes with the help of knowledge. So that is a systematic knowledge. Once we know about one magnet, and then we take another magnet and try to see whether the opposite poles repulse or attract, or the same poles oppose or they attract each other, right? So based on that, the super speed magnetic trains are made today. So making of that magnetic train is nothing but technology. We had science, we had the systematic knowledge of magnetism and all that, and then we put that knowledge into use. So putting the practical utility, or having the practical utility of systematic knowledge, that is science, that is called technology. Although science and technology are two different words, but they are very much linked together, and we always speak both these words together. Even the name of your science book is Science and Technology, right? Because science and technology, these two words are inseparable. Yes, you cannot separate that. If you have science, certainly you are going to use that science in technology. Now the first we come to is metallurgy. Now what is metallurgy? The branch of science and technology related with the properties of metals and their production and purification is called metallurgy. This happens to be the definition of metallurgy. We are repeating it again. The branch of science and technology. Science and technology has lots and lots of faculties inside it, that is branches or different systems with that we learn. For example, learning about the plant kingdom, that is plant kingdom, animal kingdom. Then plant kingdom is learning about that is one faculty or subject, and learning about the animal kingdom is another faculty or another subject. Same way, the branch of science and technology that is related with the properties of metal. What are properties of metal? Each and every metal and mineral found has different type of properties. For example, iron is quite strong. Yes, it takes lots of strength to bend an iron rod, but if that rod is made up of aluminum, it can be bent very easily, right? So this way there are different properties of different minerals. So the science and branch of science and technology related with the properties of metal and their production. Now, how do we produce that? We have to first find out which soil has more quantity of a particular mineral, say iron or say aluminum. Then the soil which has lots and lots of iron in it, that is called iron ore. Same way, the soil which has lots and lots of quantity of the mineral aluminum, that's called bauxite, and that is called this ore for aluminum. So we have to take out iron ore, then put it in a furnace, heat it at a very high temperature until the mineral in it reaches its melting point and it starts melting. When it melts, the impurities either stay above or stay at the bottom, and we can filter out the mineral out. Then we have to refine it, so that all the rest of the impurities are removed and we get the pure metal. So the branch of science which deals with the properties of metals and their production and their purification, that is known as metallurgy. Now, people of India have been making the use of metallurgy in their daily life since the ancient times. Since ancient time, people have come to know about the presence of different minerals in the ground, and they have been taking the ore out, and then they have been melting it, separating the metal out of it, removing the impurities, refining it so that we get the best of the metal, and then that metal is then put into use by making different things out of it. Since ancient times, people of India have been doing it. Ancient India made extraordinary progress in the field of metallurgy. This is just one sentence, but then we have got to prove what we are saying. So, if we say ancient India has been making extraordinary progress in the field of metallurgy, now let us prove it. The proof of this is the metallic idol of a female dancer discovered from Indus Valley civilization more than 4 to 5,000 years. Indus Valley civilization, we found a metal statue that show a woman dancing. So a dancing girl statue was found from the excavation of the Indus Valley civilization, which is usually dated from 4,000 to 5,000 years old. So proof we have got it, that if people of ancient India were making statues from metal, that means they knew where to find the soil where there is more of that mineral, how to excavate it, that means how to extract that iron, that ore, how to purify it. They'll need furnace, they'll need lots and lots of heat. They did all those things in order to melt the ore and remove the impurities. Then again, whatever metal they got, now they have to refine it so that remaining impurities are removed and we get the finest metal from it, and then that metal has to be given shape. So they knew about all this. This is a living proof that ancient people in India, they had made an extraordinary progress in the field of metallurgy. Then we have more proofs. What is that? Metal statue of Buddha belonging to the Kushan period was found at Takshashila, which further proves our excellence in metal work. Metal statues of Buddha, right, wearing statues of Lord Buddha were found from Takshashila, which proves that even during the 0 BC or 1 BC or 2 BC, people made things out of iron, produced it, and that is how we find the metal statues of Buddha. Then several idols were made in South India during the Chola period. During the Chola period, by that time, that is the bronze, the age that we call, right? People had been using iron, but more they had been using copper, and then they found aluminum. So this way lots of minerals were found out of that. From in the Chola period, we find very fine idols of gods and goddesses made from metal. The finest example of this metal statue is that of Nataraja, of Lord Shiva in dancing pose, right, which has become world famous. The Nataraja pose of Lord Shiva, that statue, after it was found, discovered, right, and then put up for display, and instantly it became very famous throughout the world. At present, this statue is preserved in the museum at Chennai. These are all the living proofs that since ancient time people have been knowing about the art of knowing about metals and how to take out the iron ore, or how to heat it up, reach its melting point, and separate the metal and the impurities and then refine the metal and make several things out of it. The museum also has, this is also very important, the museum also has the ancient statue of Lord Rama, the archer, that is also present in the Museum of Chennai. Fine ancient metal artistic statues of gods and goddesses, birds, animals, and betel nut cutters, etc., are a wonderful example of our rich metallic art. Everywhere we have presence of things made out in the ancient time. We found it at the time of excavation at different sites all over India, and these are the things that we got from there, which is a living proof that people of ancient India were very good at the metallurgy. So lots of artistic metal statues of birds, animals, gods, goddesses, animals, betel nut cutters, that is supari cut karne ke liye, very artistic design and shape was given to it. So all this are proofs. Next we come to chemistry. Chemistry is also known as alchemical lore. Chemistry is an experimental science. Yes, one short, very short 4-5 word definition. What is chemistry? Chemistry is experimental science. Unless you don't experiment with it, it's not going to yield a result, and you cannot prove that because I mixed this liquid with that liquid, yes, the color of the liquid change. Until you don't mix the two liquids, yes, a blast doesn't happen in the laboratory and nobody knows that you are making something. So a blast has to happen, right? So chemistry is an experimental science. Yes, you have to mix an acid with a base and see whether neutralizing is happening or you made something new. So chemistry helps in studying various minerals, plants, seeds of agriculture, making various metals and understanding their properties. So chemistry is studying about various minerals. Yes, आपका जो minerals का जो table होता है, right? So it lists all the minerals available on the earth. Yes, and that is physics, okay, but then that is chemistry also. Yes, because experimenting with minerals, suppose you take 10 grams of iron and you mix 10 grams of aluminum with it and 2 grams of gold in it, तो 3 अलग अलग मिनरल्स का प्रॉपर्टीज उसमें होना चाहिए. अब जिसका पोर्शन ज़्यादा उसकी प्रॉपर्टीज ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग होगी, राइट? गोल्ड की प्रॉपर्टी उतनी नहीं होगी बिकॉज गोल्ड इज हार्डली 2 grams that you used. Of course it's quite costly, right? So experimenting with different minerals, chemistry is used for studying plants, their seeds, and for agriculture, making various metals, yes, alloys, etc., and understanding their properties. Chemistry is also used in making medicine. Yes, the allopathy medicines that we use. Yes, so that is using chemistry in making medicines and used for curing diseases or for remedies. Now we have certain great people who gave lots of contribution in different fields. Out of that, Acharya Nagarjuna's name is taken with lots of respect because he has contributed a lot in the field of chemistry. Acharya Nagarjuna, he was a learned Buddhist of Nalanda University. When we were learning literary heritage of India, in that, at the end of chapter 4, we learnt about Nalanda University, where we learned that Acharya Nagarjuna, he was a famous person who dealt with the field of chemistry, and he studied at the Nalanda University because Nalanda University had a different department and it also had a furnace so that the students of chemistry can experiment over there. So a learned Buddhist of Nalanda University, he is known as the pioneer of chemistry, pioneer and initiator, one who starts. He suggested that people should use allopathic medicines along with herbal medicines. Even during those times, in the ancient time, it was already an established fact that people were using Ayurvedic medicines for curing lots of diseases. Acharya Nagarjuna was one of the person who stated that along with herbal medicines that are taken by people to cure some of the disease, for a rapider and more speedy cure, allopathy medicines that are made out of chemistry, using chemistry, then they should be taken along with herbal medicines. It is believed that it was Acharya Nagarjuna who first introduced the use of mercury ash as a medicine. Mercury is considered a poison if it is directly taken orally, right? That works as a poison, but after burning mercury, which is liquid in state, right, after burning it, the ash is then mixed with other things for making medicines. So it was first metal, ash of a metal used for making medicine, that was first introduced by Nagarjuna, that is Acharya Nagarjuna. He has written two books, namely Ras Ratnakara and Arogya Manjari. Rasa juice, but we say ras. Ras is the extract of, say, a fruit, that is called, what do we call juice, right? So ras is an extract of either a fruit or leaves or bark of a tree or roots of a tree, that is called rasa. So Rasa Ratnakar. The juices that are extracted from different plant kingdom, species of plant kingdom, plus by using chemistry also certain rasa are made which are very helpful for curing diseases, etc. So he has written a whole book on Rasa Ratnakar. And Arogya Manjari, taking care of your health, how to cure small diseases on your own if the ailment is known, if the symptoms show something positive towards a particular disease, then Arogya Manjari, Arogya, health, Manjari, taking care of your health. In his book Rasa Ratnakar, he has mentioned about the main juices, that is rasa. Here juices, ye wo apple juice, nimbu pani wo nahi hai, right? So main juices, the extract, that is concentrate bhi bolte usko, right? So Maharasa, that is 42 different types of Maharasas are mentioned, and the different uses that you can do with this 42 Maharasa. Uprasa, the sub-juices of, by mixing one or two of them or four of them, and 10 types of poisons have been mentioned in this book. Various types of salts, different types of salts have been mentioned in this book. Ash of minerals that are found in chemistry and how that can be used in making medicine. So in Rasa Ratnakar, basically he is dealing with the extracts, whether that is taken from the plants, different parts of the trees, plants, whatever, or from the juices of different fruits, or even from the ash of the certain minerals. Nagarjuna was the head of the Nalanda University, where he had set up school of chemistry and furnace for study and research purpose. He was such a learned person that he was the head of Nalanda University. For some time he had set up a school of chemistry for researches, for lots of students to carry on with their researches, and he also had a furnace over there so that he plus other students can use the furnace for knowing more about different minerals that are present in the soil, and can research upon it. Excellence of chemistry in sculptures and pillars. Now, how is chemistry used in producing some of the fine sculptures and pillars? Sculptures, you know, statues, huge statues that are made, right? Huge things that are made using metals. For example, a huge bell that is made, that is a sculpture, right? But basically it is chemistry. That is, it's dealing with the mineral. The copper statue of Buddha discovered from Sultanganj in Bhagalpur district of Bihar is an excellent example of our ancient knowledge about the use of chemistry and metallurgy. right? So copper statue of Buddha, it's quite big, right? And it is made out of copper. That means in the ancient time, the about all the knowledge about copper, how to find it, where to find it, how to refine it, then how to make statues for it, which so that was found from the Sultanganj area in Bhagalpur district of Bihar, and that is an excellent example where both metallurgy and chemistry, both of them are used. This statue, why is it famous? Because it is 7.5 feet high and weighs 1 ton. It's even taller than me. Yes, 2 feet above me, say. So, statue is 7.5 feet tall, and the weight of that is approximately 1 ton, that is 1,000 kg. Similarly, the statue of Buddha at Nalanda is 18 feet high. The statue of Buddha that is found at Nalanda, that is some 18 feet high, made out of metal. One of the finest example of all is the Vijayastham, a 24 feet high iron pillar which weighs 7 tons. It was made by Chandragupta II. Vijayastham, it's a very popular and famous iron pillar which is 24 feet tall and weight is 7 tons, that is 7,000 kg. It was built by Chandragupta II, that is made during the Gupta period. Such was our creation and hold on chemistry and metallurgy that even after hundreds of years the pillar has not corroded. Though it is an iron pillar, lots of other minerals were mixed in it so that the iron present in the pillar does not rust. And lots of researchers all over the world, lots of expert people in chemistry, lots of people expert in metallurgy, they have come and researched upon this iron pillar, but till date they have not been able to say exactly what is this pillar made up of. It is iron, right? But then what other minerals and in what quantity were mixed in such a way that after standing over there in the open, fighting with the climate for all these hundreds of years, it has still not eroded. You just dip or you just keep an iron nail in water for a few days and then you can see that rust starts happening, right? So that is eroding of the metal, right? Now the iron pillar does not have or does not show any erosion or any corrosion. Science of medicine and surgery, medicinal literature. Now the ancient people, they were great researchers of the plant kingdom and animal kingdom, and they have researched and found out lots of things which are very useful for curing a number of diseases. Maharshi Charak, one of the first names to come up in the field of medical literature. Literature means the scripts that are written especially for medicinal purposes or the observation that these people had in the terms of medicine and has lots of value in terms of the medical literature. So Maharshi Charak, Maharshi Sushrut and Maharshi Vagbata were the pioneers of ancient India's medicine and herbal science and surgery. These three Maharishis, they were called the ancient India's pioneer of medical and herbal science and surgery. Maharshi Charak, Maharshi Sushrut and Maharshi Vagbata. These people did extensive research and reached great heights. These people, they were involved in such a lot of extensive research on medicinal science and surgery that they reached great heights in their findings, and they have left behind lots of writing which are useful even for the medical students of today. Maharishi Charak wrote a book, Charak Samhita writing collection of books, in which he has mentioned about over 2000 medicinal herbs. Where to find it, which plant or which tree, which part of that plant or tree, and where to find it, what is exactly to be used, whether it is to be used in dry state or a fresh state, in which he has mentioned over 2000 medicinal herbs. That much extensive research was made by Maharshi Charak. Next comes Maharshi Sushrut. He wrote a book called Sushrut Samhita, in which he has mentioned instruments used in surgery. For doing surgery, that is cutting open any part of the body, doing necessary whatever job is to be done inside it, yes, and then again stitching it back, that is called surgery, right? So he has written about the instruments that are used in surgery. These instruments that were made these many hundreds of years back, they were so sharp that they can vertically split a single hair into two parts. A single strand of hair, it can efficiently vertically split it into two parts. That much sharp they were even during those days. So all these instruments are mentioned in the Sushrut Samhita written by Maharshi Sushrut. He has written it so many hundreds of years back. This proves that even at that time, medicinal science and surgery was continuous and people made use of it. Vagbhata wrote a book, Vagbhata Samhita. Even today, all these three books, that is Charak Samhita, Sushrut Samhita and Vagbhata Samhita, even today these books are very, very essential for reference for doctors who are getting ready today when they are doing their studies, when they are still becoming a doctor. Reference of these books is a must for doctors of today also. Apart from that, Vagbhata wrote Ashtang Hriday, which is an excellent book for diagnosis. Ashtang Hriday, it's an excellent book for diagnosis. Yes, diagnosis, to find out what disease a person is having, that's called diagnosis. Yes, by looking at the symptoms, by viewing those symptoms, by experimenting with those symptoms, we can come to know which disease the person is suffering for or what is happening with that person. That's called diagnosis. The knowledge about science, medicines and surgery possessed by ancient Indians. Yes, what was the extent of knowledge that was possessed by the people of ancient India in the terms of science, that is medicinal science and surgery. Ancient Hindu culture's herbal science. Yes, Ayurveda, one of the methods of treatment that we follow. Homeopathy, one of the treatment that we follow. Hindu culture, herbal science is enriched with a huge collection of minerals and medicines that can be made from plants and animals. By using different plants, by using different parts of the plants or certain animals, we can make useful medicines which we can, with the use of which we can cure lots of chronic diseases also. Our ancient literature on these sciences explain in detail all the complicated process of, first thing, making medicines, second, classifying them, and the third is usage in a proper way. All these things we find written in our Hindu scriptures, all three of them. Yes, first thing is to learn about these complicated processes, first to see the symptoms and to judge which type of disease this is. Then next, which type of medicines will help at this stage, whether it is whatever stage. Yes, so the correct use of medicine, how to use it, and along with that, what are the different things that the person has to take care of. Suppose not eat some type of food, or not to sleep too much, or not to overwork so much, so that the effects of the medicines can be helpful to the body in a very short time, and the person can be cured with that from that disease. So complicated process of making medicines, classifying them into different categories, and then usage, how to use that medicine in a proper way. They could recognize symptoms and diagnose this disease also. Yes, today also if we go to a doctor, the first thing he does is the rate of the heartbeat and how the heart is working. He looks at those things, yes, puts that stethoscope piche aage, right, so that he knows, he's trying to diagnose what is wrong with this person. So first thing is to recognize the symptoms and diagnose the disease. Based on this, to provide Ayurvedic medicine. Allopathy medicine was also used during those days, but more prominently Ayurvedic medicines were used. They also had the knowledge about ideal diet during and post recovery of the disease. Yes, they had a perfect idea what type of diet a person should have when he is undergoing medication and after the disease is cured. Post remedies of post recovery, after the person recovers from the disease, what type of diet should he follow, so that till he recovers completely, he can use that diet, so that the medicines he uses have their proper effect on the disease. Now next thing is surgery. The ancient Indian doctors were so skilled to perform surgeries that they could stop blood circulation using special type of ball shaped bandages. Even in those days, fighting was usual going on. Yes, lots and lots of wars were fought with one kingdom, another kingdom, one army, another army, one king, yes, empire, another empire, yes, fighting for territories or simply looting each other. So lots and lots of wars were fought. So lots of injuries were there, and these doctors of those days were so much experienced that they could stop blood circulation whenever they are doing surgery, or where there is a immediate need to stop the blood circulation, so that bandaging etc. can be done. So they were so expert that with the ball shaped bandage they can stop the circulation of the blood, and so that the person can be properly treated. They could skillfully operate on lots of diseases: abdomen disease, kidney, cataract, right? Cataract is the disease of the eye which comes with old age, hernia, stone, piles, bladder, etc. Yes, all these diseases could be, there is a necessity of doing surgery, for example in stone. Yes, so to remove the stone which is developing, you have to do surgery and take that stone out, because it's quite painful. So without surgery in those days it was quite painful. So they could skillfully operate, that means they can do the surgery and remove the pain of the people for the diseases, abdomen diseases, kidney diseases, cataract, hernia, stone, piles, bladder, etc. They were also expert to classify our bones, all the bones. Yes, by watching the movies you come to know kitni haddi hai, 206 type ki haddi hai, right? They could also join the broken and displaced bones and extract things pierced into the body easily and skillfully. For example, because lots of fighting was going on there, we'll take that example. Yes, so lots of things got pierced inside, right? And the small pieces of those, the remnants of those pieces, things, they have to be plucked out from the body. So they could easily join the broken bones, yes, or the bones that are displaced from the joints, and extract things, foreign bodies that got stuck. For example, eye, when sometimes something falls in our eye, if it's a small piece of metal, then it goes inside the eye, then it has to be extracted from the eye. That's a foreign body. Yes, and so such type of foreign bodies, they were very expert in extracting them without doing much harm, and that also very skillfully. they were skilled in plastic surgery as well, joining nose and ears. Bolo plastic tha us time pe, yes. Right. So plastic surgery is taking a skin from somewhere from a body and sticking it onto some bruised parts, yes, which needs replacement of the cells of the skin. So that is plastic surgery. They in those days had the knowledge of plastic surgery, and they were very efficient in joining nose, ears, yes, also. So they were very expert in this type of surgeries. Our ancient doctors had deep interest in teaching students the method of surgery. Is बहुत अच्छी बात है उन दोनों in those days people were not selfish. Yes, whatever the knowledge they had in terms of whatever field, they distributed that knowledge, imparted that knowledge to the students so that the next generation can have the full knowledge of somebody's experience, observation, research, opinion, suggestion, so that it can be distributed to as many as possible, so that they can also distribute or pass it on to the next generation. And so knowledge, if it stays at one place, yes, it becomes stagnant and it's of no use. It starts rusting. But if it, as much as it distributes, it becomes more and more efficient. They used to demonstrate surgery to students either on dead bodies or on wax statues, right? Dead bodies. And the best tool considered for the students who are still learning the profession of becoming a doctor, practicing on. So these students were taught either on dead bodies or on wax statues, so that surgery is better taught on that. Cut open, see what is inside. So for that, dead bodies also were used, where dead bodies were not allowed. Wax statues of human bodies were made, and then proper way of cutting open the different parts of the body and what to look for inside, how to do the surgery. All of these things were taught to the students of that time. Students, will stop over here for today. Thank you.